had a bad habit of underestimating you. Every obstacle you faced, I think you couldn't overcome it. And you just did.
This is one of the most iconic casts of all time, and it's going to go on to be one of those for our generation. I was thinking, hypothetically, if you could drop this Twilight cast into a classic film and have them interact with another cast, who would they have the most fun with?
Can it be a reality TV people?
Sure, do anything you want.
Maybe the Hogan Knows Best cast?
Yes!
Is that what that show's called?
With Hulk
That's not real. I was going to say Girls Gone Wild. But like,
well, all right, first of all,
Girls Gone Wild would be better.
How would Girls Gone Wild go down? How would Edward fare in Girls Gone Wild?
I think it would really get him out of his shell.
That makes sense. I think it's the greatest idea ever.
Or, I don't know, I think maybe the Will and Grace cut. No, maybe just Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Yes.
Done. Just let them get.
You know what? That would be and have them do the battle scene.
That would be amazing.
That would be epic.
That would be incredible.
That would be literally epic. Like Robert said, like Girls Gone Wild, a bunch of crazy answers. What would yours be?
Funny. I'm thinking of the most hokey, because you said I'm thinking old
Anything.
hokey movies. Like, I don't know, imagine them in Greece. Like, imagine them...
Yes.
Imagine them in, like, West Side Story or something.
How would
I'm,
Bella
like,
interact
in musical land right now. I don't know why. I always imagine, like, before we did any scene, it's like, well, let's do the musical version, and then we'll do our version, and then we'll do a parody version, and then we'll do the Girls Gone Wild version.
Yes.
You know what? I'd probably put them head-to-head with the Wizards of Harry Potter or, you know, the Hunger Games peeps.
Yes.
I think it would be fun seeing them all together.
Hunger Games versus Twilight, who would win that battle?
You know, if Bella is a vampire, I think she would give Katniss a pretty good competition. And if Jacob's allowed to transform into a werewolf, I think he can do his business there too. So, it all depends, but it would be a nice matchup.
Wow, that is a good question.
Gosh, people are getting so creative, and it's like really throwing me off.
Oh, that's so interesting. You know, I feel such reverence, I think, for old classic movies. I wouldn't think, you know, I don't. It's hard for me to imagine dropping into some.
Like Jackson
What
said,
if we
Breakfast
go
Club.
with?
Breakfast Club.
Just to give an example, and then Robert Pattinson said Girls Gone Wild. I don't know why he went there, but he did.
Is that what he considers a classic film?
That's what he said apparently. What were you gonna say?
I don't know. What if with CGI we were all, they shrunk all of us down and we were all in Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
Or something like that.
Something like very
You know what I mean?
theatrical.
Yeah.
They would get along.
You know what we would
I
be
just
good
imagine-
in? We would be good in Moulin Rouge. The
There
Cullen
you go.
family.
That would be yes.
That was fantastic.
Monsters.
Monsters.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Who would you?
Oh man, Breakfast Club. Let's go Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Right?
How would you interact with Emilio Estevez or something like that? That'd be awesome.
That'd be hysterical.
You guys are in detention.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the Cullens are in detention with the rest of the Breakfast Club. It's just kind of like you see that Breakfast Club shot. They're all standing there, and then it's gonna slowly pan over, and then it's the Cullens. That makes me laugh.
I'd like to see the vampires get it on with the hobbits. That would be quite interesting.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What else? It would be kind of fun to see all the Twilight characters, maybe in a TV series, maybe in Breaking Bad. Breaking Dawn meets Breaking Bad.
I didn't expect you to seem so... you?
My time as a human was over, but I never felt more alive.
If you were to meet specific famous vampire hunters as Edward, how would that go down? So, for example, let's say you met Blade. What would happen to Edward in that situation?
I think Blade would just laugh at me.
He would just be like, what the hell?
Just be like, you're not going to do anything anyway. you can stay.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I haven't seen that. I didn't really understand what that was about.
Neither do I. I don't know what the hell it was. The last one, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I think he'd get on well with Buffy.
I think so too. I think they would be a couple.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they would totally be a couple.
That's the sequel.
That's the next one.
That's the sequel to Buffy comes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon directs.
Yeah.
That'd be badass.
I thought we would be safe forever. But but forever isn't as long as I'd hoped.
You know, your character, when she finally wakes up as a vampire, she realizes all these enhancements that she has. She can see things differently, she's stronger. But then there's downsides. She can't eat food, and she like human food, no Taco Bell, nothing like that.
Right.
Did you ever use that gift card, by the way? I have to know. Like, I gave you that gift card at Snow White, the $10 tip.
I mean, to be honest, I probably lost it.
did.
But that was such a good moment we had.
We did. That was awesome. You had those ups and downs as a vampire. So, as an actor in this business, what are the upsides of being an actress, and what are the downsides of being an actress in Hollywood and being like where you are and the level that you are?
Gosh, I've been working so much, and I love that. I would go. I really love being challenged, especially right now. It's just, you know, maybe I'm 22. It's definitely an age you want to like use what you've got. You know, you've got so much bubbling underneath the surface, and as you know, you can really let a lot out as an actor. So that's my favorite thing. I love feeling challenged at such a young age. It's hard to find what challenges you in life. That's like a lot of people's goal is, and it's hard to achieve. So I'm really lucky for that. And the downsides of being an actress in Hollywood.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, no, people. I don't really. It's weird. Like it's hard to be specific about it because like, you start to sound like you. I mean, obviously, I don't really know anybody that loves paparazzi and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I don't care. It's so worth it. I genuinely love my job so much that you know, it's kind of. I don't know. It's like so worth it. So I don't want to sound like it's not really a downside.
I have to report a crime. The colonies, they've done something terrible.
Volturi thinks Renez May's an immortal child.
She was born, not bitten. She grows every single day.
Oh my.
I was fascinated because you see Bella turn into a vampire in Breaking Dawn, obviously. So I was thinking, hypothetically, let's say that the tables turned and you actually transformed into a human, and she never went to vampire. How differently would the story play out, do you think?
Yeah, I think Bella would lose interest.
She only wants you for your vampire
Yeah,
stuff.
literally, she just wants to be a vampire. That's like basically what the whole moral of the story is.
She doesn't care about you.
She wants a kid, just wants to steal my kid. But yeah, I was talking about this yesterday. I like the idea of him turning into a mermaid. Like in the sequel.
Yeah.
Just something happens.
Do Splash 2 or something like that.
That'd be incredible.
Little Mermaid 2.
Vampire mermaid.
I love this.
What is it, Alice?
The Volturi, they're coming for us.
If enough people knew the truth, maybe we could convince the Volturi to listen.
Our search began looking for vampires in the most remote corners of the world,
My family's in danger. I need your help.
each with their own gift.
You are an amazing woman.
This process of this movie throughout your career, like in this particular series, you've gone through a very emotional transformation, and now in Breaking Dawn, you hit that physical transformation aspect. Besides Twilight, looking back through your career, what is the role of yours you think you transformed emotionally the most for and physically the most for?
I did a movie called The Cake Eaters that I played a girl with Friedreich's ataxia, which is in later stages of it, which gets very physically evident, and that was a huge transformation. Other than that, it's weird. Like genuine transformations, I find it doesn't really describe exactly what It's so crazy to say that you can be a completely other, like, different person. Mm-hmm. It's always, you know, like you read something and something about it surprises you about yourself. You go, I responded to something I didn't know I had inside of me, and so making the movie is figuring out why you responded that way. And so everyone I've played, I never really felt like I was being somebody else. I always felt like I was just sort of finding a different aspect of myself. But physically speaking, definitely The Cake Eaters.
Creating an immortal child has long been outlawed and is met with the severest form of punishment. Death.
I I love the whole line you say to Bella where you say, I have a bad habit of underestimating you. And I feel like, you know, as an actor, have you ever taken on a role where you...
I was just thinking of that. Do you have that with Kristen?
Yeah, no.
You constantly underestimate.
No. The question is, like, do you, as an actor, have you ever gone into a role and underestimated yourself, and then after you were done, surprised yourself, like, wow, I really kind of did that. That was kind of cool. I really kind of pulled that off.
Sometimes. I mean, not. I've never felt that for like an entire movie. Sometimes there's certain scenes which, you know, something comes out which you have absolutely no idea where it came from, and that's like the best feeling in the world.
Any particular scene you can remember where you felt that way?
I remember in this there was a scene when we were doing when Bella dies, because I was extremely nervous about it because you can't do anything as Edward. You can't cry, you can't do anything, and you don't breathe. And I think there was one shot where I was like, oh, wow, that was like something happened. I was just doing it with a dummy of Kristen as well.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, but I thought that was quite cool. And I don't know about this one. I think, there's a few things. Like there's the Cosmopolis. I thought that was, when I actually watched the movie and I didn't really recognize myself in it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Was there ever a role that you surprised yourself so much, like, oh my god, I actually did that? How did that come out of me? Any particular role?
I mean, what I love about movies and acting is being able to do just a wide variety of things. Yeah. And I had a lot of fun. I recently just did a cameo in Grown Ups 2, and I was able to, you know...
You're a frat guy in that,
do something,
right?
Yeah, and just do something a little more comedic, kind of like Jacob was in this last one. But I don't know, Jacob is my favorite role I've ever done, and it's probably because of how much he's evolved from the beginning of the franchise to the end. It's been a dream to play him.
But Shark Boy, come on.
Shark Boy was fun as well.
Classic.
Shark Boy was fun.
Love Rodriguez, man.
He's fantastic.
Have you ever underestimated yourself before going into a part and then surprised yourself after you finished the role?
I've had the opposite experience where I've thought I was going to be really good and I turned out to be rubbish.
I've never seen you in a rubbish role, by the way.
That happens a lot more. No, I think, I mean, when you go into a project, you kind of, hopefully you're going to be surprised by certain things, and that's part of the enjoyment of the project, you know. When I first started working on the Twilight movies, I had a sense of how kind of big they were and how excited people were about it. But it's not until you're actually involved that you kind of go, wow, this really is kind of different to the stuff I've done before. This is a real phenomenon. So I suppose, if anything, I underestimated how huge this whole saga would be. But, you know, I had first-hand experience watching my daughter kind of going through it. She was 8 or 9 when she first read the books and loved them. And she's grown up now into a teenager, you know, through these films. And so I suppose I always had a sense of how meaningful it was to the audience through her.
And it must be crazy because you're a villain. And she's like, Daddy, why are you so mean in this movie?
I know. Of all the characters to play.
We'll join you. Pax will fight.
One of the most famous things in the movies is when you're taking your shirt off. All the girls flip out when they see that. But I have to ask you, like, I'm like the skinniest fat guy on the planet. You have a six-pack, I have a keg. So I was thinking, like, give me some tips. Like, how do I work out? And then I'll give you tips on how to get my physique.
There you go.
Yeah, so I have some ideas for you.
Okay.
If you want to be a skinny fat guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Man, I mean, like the Jacob look?
The Jacob look.
The Jacob look, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Hopefully you like food.
There's no pill for it? I just like...
There's no pill, unfortunately. But protein shakes, like, they're nasty, though. You gotta, like, wake up, have one as soon as you wake up, 3 a day, eat a ton, and not a ton of cake and ice cream.
Chicken,
protein. Protein. Stay away from the sugar, and you gotta hit that gym.
All right, now if you want this awesomeness...
Yes?
Taco Bell?
Taco Bell.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. Double decker, you gotta get that. And then eat a big meal before you go to sleep and don't work out.
Exactly. I can do that.
That's the ultimate one.
I can do that.
Dude.
We've never been afraid of vampires.
If you guys were to meet famous vampire hunters, how would that pan out for you? So, for example, if Blade were to be introduced to you guys? How would that pan out?
That would be pretty sweet. Can we do that? Can we do like Twilight versus Blade?
Yes.
Yes, I like
we
it.
would go in the sun, use the sun to reflect off our bodies into his glasses.
The glitter.
The glitter, and blind him because his glasses aren't polarized. So.
You know what?
That's genius thinking.
Yep.
That's the greatest answer of
Emmett's
a
smart.
Twilight junket of all time. How about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
I could go so many different ways with that. But
Let me hear one. You gotta give me one. 'Cause now I'm like curious.
you turn, was it John Booth?
Yeah,
John
Booth.
Yeah. Turn him into a vampire and get it done the old-fashioned way.
Dude, you gotta write a screenplay about this. This is all right. Last one, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Last one.
Buffy. I don't know. She's
Call up Angel, tell him that she cheated on him with James Vanderbeek.
I love this.
They'll seek revenge.
This is fantastic.
All right, now this.
I have not watched Buffy. What are you talking about?
Oh, Joss Whedon! Come on, Joss Whedon's awesome.
Of course.
Yeah. This is probably gonna fail miserably. I'm gonna try a bit. Like, obviously, the best scene in the movie, one of my favorite scenes is when you do the arm wrestling scene. I'm not gonna arm wrestle you guys, but I was thinking, since we're all manly men here, how about a game of rock paper scissors to see who can rock this out? Who's the manliest of them all?
One, two, three, shoot, or what?
Yeah, let's do it. 1, 2.
Oh. This looks like
Three-way.
we're at a stalemate here, gentlemen.
I don't know.
I'll go.
I think
All right,
I mean
last one.
Go again.
1. So, all right. All right.
I guess I'm the rock.
This is not working out too well.
I just papered your rock.
I'll never let anybody hurt you.
You're one of the few actors who has been able to find a balance of making a villain likable. Like, in the sense, I enjoy anytime he's on screen. I'm like, this is awesome. So I want to ask you, where is that balance? Almost like your Tron villain too. Where is that balance between being too quirky but also being evil as well? Like, how do you find that field?
Well, I think you have to, I always think that no one thinks of themselves as the bad guy. So you have to think about, you have to rejig the whole story and see it from your character's point of view and why your character is the good guy and the hero of his own story. And then you can kind of enjoy certain aspects of it, So I think you've got to find a way to play a character who is enjoying what they're doing. And I think then an audience kind of can enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
But it's always a fine line, like with the laugh that I do.
That's what I was about to ask
film.
you about.
Yeah, it's edgy.
How do you do that? Can you teach me the laugh?
You just got to be insane.
It's like,
yeah. You just got to have depths of boredom, the likes of which you've never felt before over millennia that you've been alive, and then to see something that's so delightful and so kind of new that it just brings out this kind of out of control part of yourself. That's what I was going for.
Well, this is one thing that's interesting about this series is that every film had a different director, except for obviously the part 1 and 2 Breaking Dawn. So I was thinking, like, hypothetically, if we were to see other directors step in here and made a Twilight film, like, what would Spielberg's Twilight look like, or Scorsese's Twilight, or Tarantino's Twilight?
Scorsese's would be interesting.
Like a Rolling Stones song comes on every 5 minutes or something like that.
De Niro would play Arrow, obviously.
I like
doing
that.
a lot of that. Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio would have been a very good Edward.
I think so.
I would imagine, back in the day.
That would have been interesting.
It would be. Yeah, Tarantino's Twilight would be kind of interesting. Yeah. Well, because he did his vampire film, didn't he?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah.
Awesome movie
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That's an awesome movie.
Yeah, there are a lot more fangs in that though.
Yeah. And then, Bill Condon shoots this non-linear. I think that's fascinating that an actor has to shoot an ending scene at a beginning of a film or a middle scene at the end of a film. How do you emotionally get to where you need to be in that scene if you haven't shot the scenes previously? How do you get there emotionally?
I think it's living in the present. It's acting in the present, being right there in that moment and opening yourself up. Acting isn't so much as doing as it is reacting and just being open to honesty and feeling honest in a moment. So it's difficult. It's nice to kind of like look at your script and you have to do your research and kind of like, where are we coming from? Like, what's the emotion before us? What's the prevalent feeling in the group? And then kind of like dive into that dynamic.
It's a bit of a blessing having our characters and having the history that we've had with these characters. So we kind of know, and with the books, where we're ending up. And we've had 4 years of preparation to get here. So we're very comfortable with it. And as you shoot out of sync, I think we all had it all rehearsed anyways, how it was all going to come to fruition and just end up. So, preparation.
Two-part question. What is the reason for shooting nonlinear, and how do you get your actors to get emotionally where they need to be in a scene if they haven't shot the previous stuff?
Totally. It is hard. The reason is because you shoot things all at one location at the same time. It's just completely inefficient and costs too much money to set up the whole lighting grid, for example, for the Cullen house, and then the next day move to the next location. So you do everything. And in this movie, the big challenge, you know, it's one thing for Taylor and Rob and some of the other characters. They're basically playing the same characters. They have to obviously get themselves into the right emotional state based on the scene. But for Kристен, she started as a teenage girl in the beginning of the last movie, which we did together, you know, who then gets married, who then gets pregnant, emaciated, dies, gives birth. And we would shoot some vampire Bella stuff, and then the next day we shoot her emaciated. So it was an amazing... I was kind of worried about it at the beginning, and she was like, no, I love that challenge. You know, and she actually had this idea that by being able to play the vampire that Bella eventually turns into, it would actually help her figure out how to play earlier scenes, because Bella is she's got such a destiny, you know?
Yeah,
so it was interesting, yeah.
Well, I have to say, one of the interesting things about this film is the PG-13 rating.
Yeah,
and it's it's pretty, I would say, almost on the R side because of the violence and the sex.
I agree, yeah.
How do you show a decapitation in a PG-13 film and not get an R?
Because there's no blood. That's exactly, you know, that I think is the thing. You know, these vampires sort of, they have, it's not flesh down there, you know, it's kind of congealed into something that resembles stone more, you know. So I think because they're not human beings, I think that makes it easier.
Yeah, because I mean, there's literally no blood spray. I mean, Tarantino had to do something similar in Kill Bill when he cut in the House of Belief scene. He put it in black and white, all the red blood.
Right.
So red blood really is the key.
I think it's a lot of it. Yeah, definitely.
One of the things I'm just fascinated by all the shots that you do in the film. It's a beautiful, gorgeous-looking movie.
Oh, great.
And one of my favorite shots was the vertigo shot. You did a vertigo shot.
Right.
I'm always curious. First of all, that's just simply a zoom-in, pull-back.
That's correct. Right.
And what is the thought process of using that? What is your vision for using that shot?
Well, you know, you're right, it was Vertigo. I think Steven Spielberg in Jaws was the person who kind of found it again, and then it's become a staple, you know. So you sort of worry about using it, but I think you have to be sparing with it. But it's at I think what it suggests more than anything is, oh my God, the world is just turned upside down.
Yeah.
And we use it for a character who's just, you know, suffered this incredible kind of setback, you know.
Great.
It's very effective.
Yeah, it is. It really, because it creates like almost an anxiety effect.
Yeah,
really cool.
completely.
And your close-up shots, I mean, just kind of technical, geeky question.
Yeah.
Is that like a macro lens? Is that
Some of them, absolutely, yeah.
Gosh, those are awesome.
I know. Or sometimes we'd use a macro and then we'd step way back and then bring it in, you know.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, some of them are fun, yeah.